cases of corruption by government officials. Police spokesperson Rukidi Kiijanangoma says the deployment is a preventative measure. Take a watch.
Security agencies, including police and the army, were heavily deployed on the streets of Kampala early this morning. Government installations such as the Parliament, ministries and agencies such as the National Broadcaster UBC and roundabouts saw the heaviest deployments. According to police spokesperson Rukidi Kiijanangoma, the deployment is to prevent any chaos ahead of the planned Tuesday protest by a group of unknown youth.
We certainly have to heighten measures. We have to take concerns of the rights of others. And we are saying, the longer you fail to recognize the rights of others, the longer it will take you to enjoy your own. You really need to balance the equation. You need to understand that you do not have absolute rights. You need to factor in other people. You need to factor in other interests.
The youth are threatening to walk to Parliament over what they term as rampant corruption by top government officials.
Following a thorough security assessment regarding the feasibility of a political procession, we advised the organizers and urged them to heed to our counsel. We believe we can use better methods and better approaches than marching to Parliament with unregulated numbers.
It is not clear who is behind the Tuesday protests and whether it will go ahead as planned. In his recent address to the nation, President Museveni urged the planners of the march to Parliament to seek clearance from the security organs, or they will face the long arm of the law. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
Thanks, Philip Aguta, for that story there. And our next story is also related to that. And the police spokesperson, Assistant Commissioner of Police Rukidi Kiijanangoma, says Uganda Police Force will not condone any protests in Kampala's central business district. He says all police sector commanders have received special instructions to prevent the alleged March to Parliament protest slated for tomorrow, the 23rd of July.
On July 18, 2024, the police authorities met with the purported organizers of the protest against corruption by various government officials, particularly parliamentarians.
We advised the organizers and urged them to heed to our counsel. We believe we can use better methods and better approaches than marching to Parliament with unregulated numbers. As Uganda Police Force, we reiterate our position that we shall not tolerate disorderly conduct.
All police territorial commanders have been instructed to enhance their operations in response to the planned unlawful demonstration known as the March to Parliament. Field Force unit detachments have been directed to prepare a quick response force.
And we are saying that our disagreement with these groups are essentially on methodological issues, not the principle and the rights. Because we understand those rights, we know them, we cherish them, but we have failed to have a common ground under which those rights can easily be exercised.
Intersecurity agencies have reaffirmed their commitment to preventing any unlawful assemblies that are aimed at disrupting the rights of others.
The exercise of your right to assembly does not take away our responsibilities. It does not put our responsibility as police in abeyance. Not at all. It calls us upon to regulate you when we find you in a situation, in a framework of planning which is going to antagonize peace. We nip you in the bud.
In response to the accusations of selective application to public assembly regulations, the police defend their actions, stating that they are always collaborating with organized groups.
We shall, at all times, whenever any group of people rise to the occasion to exercise their rights, we shall meet, we shall discuss modalities, we shall share our positions. It is unfortunate that on most occasions, we find ourselves in a stalemate. But that would be the wish of the Uganda police and the rest of the security forces.
Despite the police meeting with the purported organizers of the March to Parliament demonstration, no mutual agreement was reportedly reached regarding the fate of the procession. Patricia Nandago and Roger Skomagum for UBC.
And of course, peaceful means is the way to go. Now, the Interreligious Council of Uganda is calling upon the youth to adopt peaceful and constructive dialogue as a means to air out their grievances. Now, religious leaders are advocating for a more holistic approach to address the issues affecting the society. We have more in this story.
As the clock ticks down to the much-anticipated March to Parliament protest by youth over corruption, the Interreligious Council of Uganda has spoken out about the matter.
In our pastoral letters, we have sought to guide the nation on a number of issues, such as good governance, prevention of gender-based violence, promoting social accountability through the fight against corruption, etc. This should be done within the spirit of our national motto, for God and my country. That is, being guided by the values of justice and shared well-being, and devoid of political party, ethnic, religious interests and elements of foreign interests.
Religious leaders believe in the need to build consensus and create dialogue spaces for young people to express their grievances.
We were delighted when the younger people wrote to us and sought an audience over their grievances. RSU believes in creating spaces for dialogue and building consensus. And this is a role we have done before and continue to play. We urge all those issues of concern. We urge all those with issues of concern, particularly the youth, to adopt peaceful and constructive dialogue.
They have called upon the government to listen to the issues being raised by the young people and their constituencies. Marion Awori for UBC.
Now, members of parliament have urged government not to stop the demonstrations against corruption planned by the youth. The protest is scheduled for Tuesday, the 23rd day of July 2024. The legislators want security to guide and help the youth succeed with a peaceful protest. A section of members of parliament told UBC that the heavy deployment of police and other security personnel may turn the peaceful demonstration into a riot. Take a watch.
Youth have planned a march to Parliament on Tuesday, July 23rd to petition the Speaker, Anita Mong, against corruption in the country. Police warns the youth not to attempt to demonstrate because their intentions are not clear. However, under the Constitution of Uganda, people have a right to peaceful demonstration. President Museveni, in his address to the nation, cautioned the youth against involving in demonstrations that may lead to disruption of business. Now, some members of parliament view the argument differently.
Liberty and freedom, they can also simply degenerate into a riot which will infringe on the rights of other citizens. The president was categorically right when he spoke about this.
Right to stop them. They should have given them their one day to come in and actually do what they have to do, and I'm sure it would have been a very peaceful one. But because if we do not listen to them or give them that space to show or to intervene, show their anger, then they'll take it to the ballot papers in 2026, and there nobody can stop them.
Let them come. If they want to meet the speaker, let them come, they meet the speaker, they interact with the speaker, they tell the speaker what they want to say. and they go back. But stopping them and maybe tear gassing them, revenging on them very heavily, is not good for the country at all.
So there is no need to stop them. Instead, to guide them to have a very peaceful demonstration.
Protest is not necessarily a protest against Parliament, because corruption is not only in Parliament. So Parliament, I think, is just to spark off protests, eventually to deal with the real problem affecting Uganda.
Bobolo East County MP Musila John says the youth have a right to demonstrate.
Demonstration, I support. The issues they may have about corruption, all of us are out. Right? They could have a genuine reason or reasons, and they could have a genuine mind come out to demonstrate. Suppose the goons overtook them. Suppose the lumpens came up to destroy what we saw in Kenya, including even the Uganda House, by the way, getting destroyed.
While legislators Gilbert Olanya, MP Clark South, Betty Ochan and Isaac Otim, Paderi County, say police deployment is what may turn the peaceful protest into a riot.
This kind of demonstrations that turned into riot, they were all caused by the army officers, by the military. They're the one who comes, they start disorganizing people, and automatically people become annoyed, and they start throwing stones.
But if they are peaceful and these people with the guns should be for protection of lives, not for killing people.
Deployment and all this kind of thing is just going to exaggerate the march to turn it into something which was not the cause of it. And I don't think it was actually a political march.
MPs say if the demonstrators come with ill intentions to compare Ugandan Parliament and Kenya Parliament, or even make it political, they do not support it.
So I pray that those demonstrators should not have that same mentality, that they are coming to cause destruction onto the Parliament of Uganda. And the moment they have that mentality of coming to destroy the Parliament of Uganda, that is where they may get it very rough. And as members of Parliament, we don't buy that idea.
Which happened in Kenya is totally different from the protest which was going to take place in Uganda. Actually, it's not a protest, it's a march. One is, the one in Kenya, for example, it was mainly due to the fact that the leaders did not listen to their people for the finance bill. But in Uganda, the march which was going to take place tomorrow is in line with actually the government program.
Parliament resumes business Tuesday from recess, and some MPs think the sittings might get disrupted by the march, while others say business might go on as usual.
But I want to advise Parliament again, a clarion call. We would avoid, and we can avoid, confrontations. Why can't we push the recess 1 week later until the situation cools down, until we hear from the youth?
No problem at all. Parliament can resume tomorrow normally because there's no problem at all, and there's nothing to fear.
I'm Nafka Farida and Gloria Gwitabinji at Parliament.
Gloria and Farida, thank you so much for that story there. And of course, we do await for what will happen tomorrow, whether the demonstration will take place or it will be quashed. Meanwhile, police and army cordoned off the headquarters of the National Unity Platform, No Party headquarters at Kavuli, and arrested some party members, including Zake Francis. Now, the party president, Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, also known as Bobby Wine, condemned the act while speaking to reporters after the cancellation of the press conference.
The National Unity Platform headquarters at Makere Kavule was surrounded by police and army forces, creating a tense atmosphere. Several NUP members, including MP Honorable Zake Francis, were arrested due to an altercation with the police.
Wait! Watch out! You open! Open! You jump there! Open! You jump there! Everything like machines. Human behave. In office by 10, it's getting to 10. The office is closed.
The police cancelled the planned press conference at the NUP headquarters, citing a security threat.
Whenever we feel they have no infringement on the bigger security of the country, we are ready to facilitate them.
Robert Kyagulanyi, the party president, condemned the police action in a subsequent press conference held at his home in Nyerere.
We condemn the illegal besieging of our headquarters. We condemn the illegal arrests that have gone on. You are aware that some of our leaders, including Honorable Zake, are still under arrest, unjustifiably so. You saw the harassment that our deputy president faced.
He was unhappy with government's failure to grant permission to use the Kololo Independence grounds for their anniversary celebrations.
We shall insist, we shall have to have a huge event to celebrate 4 years of the National Unity Platform.
The police spokesperson, Rukidi Kiijanangoma, cited that the police believed NUP was planning an unlawful demonstration and intended to use the gathering for mobilization for the anti-corruption protests.
Boda would wish to stampede a person who's raising a voice against corruption. But we have fundamental disagreements on how you can project your voices on this matter.
Dr. Lina Zedriga, the party's vice president, was also arrested but survived being whisked away to the central police station.
People power, our power, our power, people power. I have come to be in my office, okay? No, don't push her. Stand up. Yeah, will you kneel? Okay, stand up. Because if I stand up, they will have fight. And you have seen how we have fought. Thank you so much for being there, Mr. President. I believe now we need to see where we can meet. And we need to see how we address this.
NUP members who arrived at the headquarters were denied entry and voiced concerns about their rights being violated.
The press conference was meant to begin at 9. They have covered the whole place. The whole office is covered by police. Since when did they begin to be askaris to that place?
Reached here, the army, the police have taken over everything. We cannot enter. We no wonder why have they come here? Who has sent them? What have they come to do? And where are they going?
The heavy presence of police and army heightened the tensions and restricted movement around the NUP headquarters. Komagum Rogers and Jamil Sekaja for UBC.
In a related development, a section of Boda leaders in Kampala Metropolitan have warned taking action against any sector player, mainly the raiders who will take part in the Tuesday, 23rd July protests against corruption. They addressed the media where leaders announced putting collaborators to closely work with security agencies to monitor the situation.
The 23rd July 2024 anti-corruption march to Parliament by concerned Ugandans is the talk of the city. However, a section of Boda operators, one of those sectors expected to heed to the call, have distanced themselves from this march.
Njagala okusaba abaganda bange abali mulimu gwaffe ogwa boda ne bannayuganda okutwalira wamu naddala abali mu kibuga Kampala nti olunaku lw'enkya.
As Boda operators, we are here to clearly state that we will not take part in tomorrow's demonstration.
Olw'ensonga emabega wali tubali tusirise nga tulowooza nti waliwo omulamwa.
While addressing media on Monday in Kampala, the Kampala Metropolitan Boda operators under their union have warned taking tough actions against any rider who will join the movement.
We want to caution all our riders that please kindly stay away from this move, since all these people are just going to use you and dump you.
Under this line, they have deployed manpower to work along security operatives to monitor and document any defiant rider in the metropolitan area.
We have deployed our security teams in the city to work with police to monitor any rider who will be protesting.
Although the initiators of the July march to Parliament haven't dropped their intention by Monday evening, the police has entirely halted the process and warned to respond with reasonable force to crack down the Tuesday demonstrations. Robert Anyango, UBC News.
To the US now, where US President Joe Biden has announced that he's no longer running for re-election and has thrown his weight behind his Vice President Kamala Harris.
Hello, I'm VOS Jackson Vunganye. Now, I'm sure by now you've heard that President Joe Biden has announced that he will not seek re-election. which is a historic moment in American politics. Biden's choice was influenced by concerns within his party regarding his age, which is highlighted by the fact that he is the oldest serving president in U.S. history at the age of 81. Additionally, the first debate of the current election season raised questions about his mental sharpness and stamina required for a rigorous campaign season. After announcing his decision, Biden endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris, which, if she ultimately secures the nomination, she would be the first Black woman and first Asian American to lead a major political party's ticket. This could have a profound impact on the political landscape, energizing various demographics within the electorate and potentially reshaping the party's strategies and policies. Analysts say that the challenge right now for the Democratic Party is how to quickly unify around a new candidate, to maintain momentum, and to present a cohesive front against a highly energized Republican Party, and find ways to energize the base while appealing to those swing state voters and the independents.
Let's now get back to Uganda, and of course that one talking about Joe Biden, who has given his full support to his vice president to continue with the mantle. Uganda People's Defense Forces, the UPDF, have handed over 22 individuals rescued from the clutches of the Allied Democratic Forces rebels to the Democratic Republic of the Congo in Kasindi, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The abductees, who were freed by Operation Shujaa forces in the DRC, have since undergone rehabilitation and skills training here in Uganda.
The abductees, including children, men and women, were handed back to the Congolese army at Kasindi in the Democratic Republic of Congo by the Sector 3 commander, Colonel George Jetty, who represented Major General Richard Oto, the operation's Shujaa commander.
This is not our first ceremony of exchanging rescued Congolese and Ugandans. It has been going on. It is going on today, and it will continue as long as we are still handling the issue of ADF within Congo territory.
The abductees were handed over after undergoing rehabilitation in Uganda. Colonel Chibi Chabene, who received the rescued abductees on behalf of the Democratic Republic of Congo government, thanked the UPDF troops and the FADC for the good job done so far in fighting against the ADF rebel group. He added that the two forces will not relent until the ADF commanders and control structure is fully destroyed. Some of the abductees expressed gratitude to the UPDF and the Ugandan government.
We'll now take a short break, but we'll be returning with much more. Do stay with us.
The Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, is wholly owned by the Government of Uganda and was established to safeguard and promote Uganda's commercial interests in the petroleum sector. UNOC has two subsidiaries, the Uganda Refinery Holding Company, URHC, which will hold a 40% stake in the 60,000 barrel per day refinery and manage the development of Kabaka Industrial Park, and the National Pipeline Company Limited, NPC, in charge of pipelines, storage, and downstream business ventures. This subsidiary holds 15% interest in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACOP. EACOP is a 1,445-kilometer long pipeline that will transport crude oil through 10 districts in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. UNOC is also actively engaged in crude oil exploration, development, and production activities, and its participation role includes a 15% stake in the Tilenga, Nwoya, and Bulisa, and Kingfisher development projects, Chikure. UNOC also holds the exploration license for Kasuruban Block in Hoima, Bulisa, and Masindi. UNOC currently owns and manages the Jinja Storage Terminal and will build a 320 million litre capacity terminal in MPG called the Kampala Storage Terminal. At UNOC, we're harnessing the potential of Uganda's petroleum resources, forging a sustainable future and preserving the natural beauty of Uganda. UNOC, your partner in Uganda's oil and gas industry.
Amanya gange nze Namtebi Sharon nga nkolera wano wennyini Saka Kirombe oba Makindye. Empangula gye nawanguddemu ssente mbadde nga nkozesa mobile money nga nsindika school fees w'omwana ku ssomero. Okutegeera nti mpangudde nze mutima neegambye nti kambalinde bamale okujja ndyoke nzikirize nti mpangudde. Kyennyinza okubagamba nti si byabafere weewaawo abafere gye bali naye ennamba eri emu yokka era bw'eba ekukubidde omanye eyo si yabafere. Mpulira bulungi nnyo era ndi musanyufu nnyo. Naye MTN mobile money mbebaza nnyo mwebale nnyo mwebalire.
Together we're unstoppable.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with baby Junior jelly.
Though dried their chariots and everyone would admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love baby Junior jelly. Baby Junior's the skin. No more worries anymore. Baby Junior.
Baby Junior.
Gold. We all want it. That soft yellow glow of a subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. And warm welcome to those of you just joining us. Now, moving on, East African community members are urged to love their countries of origin and embody the patriotic heart and values as the late Julius Nyerere did. Now, these statements were expressed by history scholars at Makerere University at the launch of the Twende Butiama pilgrimage to visit Butiama village in Tanzania and commemorate the life and legacy of Mwalimu Julius Nyerere and the 25th anniversary of the revival of the EAC to be held on October the 14th.
The late Mwalimu Julius Nyerere was a Tanzanian anti-colonial activist and political theorist. He was a founding member of Tanganyika African National Unity TANU and its successor Chama cha Mapinduzi. He passed away in October 1999.
As students, leaders, as young people, it is our time to take up the mantle of what our forefathers have already established.
The United Republic of Tanzania annually celebrates the life and legacy of their fallen leader and the patriarch Pan-Africanist on October 14th. Africa Mashariki Fest has launched this year's Twende Butiama pilgrimage to commemorate 25 years since Nyerere's passing and 25th anniversary of the revival of the East African community.
On the 14th, that will be the Nyerere Day, the commemoration of the 25 years after his passing. But still, as proponents of the East African community integration, from the time the EAC was revived in 1999, we are also going to be marking 25 years of the revived East African community.
The pilgrimage to his birth and ancestral home in Butiama village in Imara region, Tanzania, is to be celebrated under the theme, espousing Mwalimu Nyerere's enduring legacy and values.
We believe that as people, as young people who espouse the legacy and the values of Mwalimu Julius Nyerere and other leaders on the African continent, it's important that we go and visit his ancestral home and the resting ground in Butiama.
Professor Mwambusa Ndebesa, the head of history department at Makerere University, urges the East African community leaders to emulate the late Nyerere.
Now there are mental borders. There are not only physical borders, but also mental borders. How can we address the mental borders so that we think East African? Each generation must, out of obscurity, identify its mission and fulfill it.
The conflict or the disconnect between generations is something that seems to be continuously mined by different people. There doesn't need to be a conflict. If the young people have an agenda and they want to learn from those who came before them, there's a possibility of having dialogue and conversation.
The United Republic of Tanzania's ambassador to Uganda, Pochesesa Simuli, hailed the good working relationship between Uganda and the Tanzanian nations, lauding President Museveni for spreading the pillars of Pan-Africanism.
Pursuit of Africa unity and of the code. Ladies and gentlemen, Mwalimu Nyerere was a visionary leader who dedicated his life to serving the people of Tanzania and the Africa continent as a whole. He believed in the concept of servant leadership, which emphasized on putting the needs of others before one's own and leading by example.
Amaiva Njuko and Viola Nanswabuga for UBC.
Now, it's joy and excitement among Ugandans, mainly the Buganda subjects, as the King of Buganda, His Majesty Ronald Muwenda Mutebi II, returned to the country after 3 months of public absence. The King, who has been in Namibia for health management, returned to Uganda last night.
Last evening, reports started trickling in about the return of the King of Uganda, Ronald Muwenda Mutebi II, from Namibia, where he had been undergoing treatment. The King of Uganda touched down at Entebbe International Airport at 12:30 a.m., where he was received by, among others, Uganda's Premier Charles Peter Mayiga. The jovial royal family members shortly addressed the media.
Obwaffe obubaka bwakwebaza. Okusookera ddala twagala okwebaza Katonda omuyinza w'ebintu byonna olw'okugolola omukono gwe oguwonya ku Ssaabasajja n'amusobozesa okusuuka ekimala okudda mu Buganda olwaleero.
They appeal to members of the public, mainly the king's subjects, to allow the Kabaka to peacefully heal.
Ssaabasajja akomyewo mu Buganda naye akyali mu mikono gy'abasawo era akyetaaga obujjanjabi n'okuwummula okutuusa lw'anassuukira ddala. Ffe abafamire tujja kweyongera okuyambako n'okumukwatirako. Tusaba abantu ba Buganda babeere bagumiikiriza era bongere okussa Ssaabasajja ekitiibwa n'okumulekera eddembe lye ery'omuntu mu kiseera kino.
The same message has been re-echoed by the Kingdom's Premier, Charles Peter Mayiga.
On the 6th of May and on the 24th of June 2024, I informed the people of Buganda that His Majesty the Kabaka was out of the country as he continued to receive medical care. Similar statements were issued by Prince Crispin Junju and Prince David Wasaja.
While addressing media this afternoon from Blangemengo, Uganda Premier fired at those who have been making fun about the king's health, referring to them as evil wishers.
We are fully aware of a few individuals who are intent on desecrating our heritage, possibly with a view to destroying the kingdom, who have persistently uttered falsehoods about the Kabaka's condition, his officials, and members of his family. There are also others who are intent on weakening the institutions by which the kingdom is upheld. Some of these come as friends with wide smiles, while their intention is to cause cracks within the different segments of the kingdom. We know these people and you know them, and we shall do all that is necessary to thwart their plans.
Although Mayiga hailed the government of Uganda and that of Namibia for supporting the king, he was quick to apologize to the Namibian government for any distress caused.
These detractors and disruptors instigated a handful of people to denigrate the Republic of Namibia at some of their missions abroad, purporting to be motivated by the love they have for the Kabaka. We endured this kind of embarrassment even inside Namibia itself. On behalf of the Kingdom of Buganda, I extend our sincere apologies to the government and people of Namibia for all the discomfort that the actions of these disruptors caused to some of the missions abroad and the people of Namibia. I thank the Namibian government for providing adequate security for our king while he was in that country.
With the return of the kingdom has intensified the plans of organizing the king's 67th birthday celebrations. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Kavuma George William, an accountant at a Kanyanya-based non-governmental organization, has been remanded back to Luzira prison on charges of aggravated homosexuality of a 16-year-old boy. Prosecution told court that inquiries into the case are still ongoing and asked court for more time.
George William Kavuma, aged 35 years, a resident of Kasangat in Wachiso district, has appeared before Kasangat Chief Magistrate Frank Nyakayiru to know the status of the case against him. In this court, George William Kavuma, an accountant at Uganda National Action on Physical Disability non-government organization based in Kanyanya, is facing one count of aggravated homosexuality of a 16-year-old boy. Prosecution alleges that George William Kavuma lured the boy into the action through a job promise at Uganda National Action on Physical Disability. Although George William Kavuma appeared in court for committal, this was impossible when prosecution led by Muhebwa Priscilla informed court that inquiries into the case are still ongoing and asked court for more time. Since Kavuma is facing a capital offense, this court has no jurisdiction to handle the case against him. Grade 1 Magistrate Frank Nyakayiru therefore remanded him to Rosella Government Prison until 20th August 2024. During the proceedings, the accused complained of being framed, including the purported victim extorting money from him.
These people complain that the victim took money from me. False pretense, blackmail, threatening to kill me. So I beg that you look into your matter. Unfortunately, this is a high court matter.
George William Kavuma was further remanded to Rosira Government Prison. Salibabu, the lawyer for the victim, expressed concern over the delay of the case.
They have tried to prevent the file from being prosecuted from 2022 until we had to indulge the guidance and assistance of officers like that of the regional DPP and the regional divisional police of Kawempe, whereby the regional OCCID by the names of Madam Rita helped us so that this young man can get justice.
The victim who also attended court proceedings spoke to the press. Prosecution alleges that the accused George William Kavuma committed the offense in October 2022 in Kanyanya Wachiso district. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Thanks, Deborah, for that story there. And news just in, President Yoweri Museveni has sworn in Mr. Edward Akol as the new Auditor General in a ceremony that took place at State House in Entebbe this afternoon. The oath was administered by the head of Public Service and Secretary to Cabinet, Ms. Lucy Nachobe Mbonye. Speaking shortly after the swearing-in ceremony, President Museveni congratulated Mr. Akol before calling on him to smell for the country if he is to deal with corruption in the country. The President cautioned the new Auditor General about corrupt auditors, saying that he should not depend solely on written evidence but rather use the public to gather information about corruption.
Auditor General, swear in the name of the Almighty God, solemnly affirm that I will at all times well and truly exercise the functions of the Auditor General in accordance with the Constitution and the laws of the Republic of Uganda. And I will do right to all manner of people in accordance with the Constitution and the laws of the Republic of Uganda without fear or favor, affection or will, and that I will not directly or indirectly reveal to any unauthorized person any matter that comes to my knowledge in the discharge of my duties and committed to my secrecy. So help me God.
I congratulate your parents, who looked after you and your family. Which means a dog, if it can no longer smell, then it will die. So, our court's job is to smell for the Uganda, to smell the thieves. And your department has got quite a bit of corruption now, because there is a case which is going on. I've been hearing that they don't do. I saw a write-up by, I think it was ISO. I sent it to, I don't know, to Isoke, about auditors who go and they are given money and they just write false reports. But it's easy, because it is easier to detect on your side when you are doing the work. Don't just depend on the written, what they have written. Send people to the field to find out how are my people doing things, because the public knows. Rely on the written records, but also on field check.
That was President Yoweri Museveni congratulating the new Auditor General, Edward Akol, upon his swearing-in ceremony there. Now, some rather sad news. Uganda is mourning the death of former Executive Secretary, Uganda National Examinations Board, Matthew Bukenya. At the age of 89, Bukenya was the longest-serving Executive Secretary of UNEB. How his career played out over the years at UNEB is what we are delving into as we explore his life's journey. God be with you till we meet again. By his counsel's guide uphold you. Securely fold you. God be with you till we meet again.
Anyone who sat their national examinations between 1997 and 2016 in Uganda must be having their certificates bearing this signature. The brain, finger and ink behind it was this man, Matthew Bukenya. having served for about 17 years at the helm of UNEB. He retired in 2016. It is a legacy marked by great strides made for the nation during his years at the National Examinations Body. He was previously an accountant at UNEB who had retired after clocking 60. It was from here that he was recalled in 1997 to head the board, replacing David Livingstone Ongom. At the time, UNEB was struggling to control the rampant examination malpractices, including leakage of examination papers. Bukenya's efforts, along with his team, later managed to reduce these leakages significantly. Bukenya was at the helm of UNEB when the board introduced several changes in the setting, management, and marking of examinations. They included concealing names of examiners and sacking those who publicized their identities. Ranking of best schools according to districts was also stopped to reduce unnecessary competition. While the beginning of his tenure may have been rough, the journey somewhat smooth, Bukenya's last days at UNEB were bumpy. A protracted dispute ensued with the board chairperson, Fajil Mande, over his tenure, which eventually led to Mande's resignation. Bukenya will always be remembered as a household name, synonymous with national examinations. His retirement in 2016 saw the board choose Dan Nokrach Odongo to take over. Odongo was then Deputy Secretary for Secondary Education. Bukenya's last public appearance was in July 2023 during the opening of new stores and an office block for UNEB in Chambogo, where he looked frail. From 1997 to his retirement in 2016, Bukenya is believed to be the longest-serving UNEB secretary in the body's history. At the age of 89, death found him in retirement on Sunday night after a long battle with health complications. Henry Okrut, UBC.
And may the soul of Bukenya rest in eternal bliss. To East Njiro now, where government has started training refugees and host communities to market their products using digital platforms. The training introduces these persons to the money economy and connects them directly to the buyers. We have more in this story.
Refugees and host communities face challenges of marketing their products and services, falling prey to middlemen. A World Bank-funded program development response to displacement impact project under the Office of the Prime Minister is training these persons to earn money.
That's using our platform called WebFarm. This tool was created for these beneficiaries to be able to access markets beyond their regions of operation, because we noticed that government has pumped a lot of money in these beneficiaries, but at the end of the day, they need markets for their products.
The development response to displacement impact project has introduced digital marketing trainings in 10 refugee resettlements and host communities in Uganda. Savara International Limited designed an app and a website, WebFarm, where refugees or any other person registers and uploads products or services. It also helps those seeking employment.
We want to connect the buyer and the seller. So once we have that connection, they will have to physically get in touch and they will have to do the transactions on site. So they will be handling their payments on their own. What we're doing on our platform is to make sure that someone in Isinjiro has matoke and someone in Kampala doesn't need to come here on site. They can easily know that Farmer X has matoke in Isinjiro and I see their contacts, I reach out to them, I call them, they assure me that pick 50 bunches of matoke from my garden, I'll drive here with my truck and transact with the farmer, give them the cash, and I take my matoke on the car and then drive it to Kampala for sale.
Some of the trainees have applauded government for the timely intervention.
This digital marketing, all the customers or all the buyers of our products will be accessing our products.
This web farm has brought this opportunity of having another platform of marketing. We've had these local markets, but however we were having a very big challenge of how to access these markets, transportation.
Our system is holistic. It is capturing both people that have access to internet and those that do not have access to internet. And we have created a USSD model, which is *284*25#. You do not need internet to have access to this platform.
This program will address refugees' cuts in money given to them as food ratios. Maureen Babidi, reporting for UBC News.
Predict the outcome of 10 football games and win big with tickets at only 500 shillings. Play for this Friday's draw to stand a chance to win big with Sports Stake 10.
Buy your tickets at authorized shops on nationallottery.go.ug to download the app or simply dial *278#.
Ugandan National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Where does it come from? That thing that makes us Ugandan. Some say it's in our history, in our culture, and in our hearts, in our warm smiles and vast miles of coffee. It's in our inherent pursuit to always be better, to never stop growing and glowing. We are a nation of sweat and skills, a nation of ideas and inventions. But what truly makes us Ugandan is our quest to invest in agribusiness, manufacturing, tourism, infrastructure, health and education to improve the quality of life of Ugandans. That's what makes us Uganda Development Bank.
We can do better.
Uganda Development Bank, inspiring development.
Welcome back. Let's have a look now at the latest in business. Now, Uganda is set to continue developing mini and micro-grid stations powered by renewable energy sources as a viable solution for rural electrification. This move comes even as the country invests heavily in hydroelectric power stations such as the 600-megawatt Karuma hydroelectric power station that's soon to be commissioned.
So that the expert can sit in.
The creation of a green sustainable energy industry and stable national grid conference in Kampala brought together key stakeholders from the energy ecosystem, including government, development partners, civil society organizations, and the private sector. The event, themed Clean Energy to Every Person, Home and Organization, was organized by Huawei.
Let us embrace this technology. I want to see technology in nuclear power development, where we are now reducing the sizes of the nuclear reactors to the portable ones. Likewise, on this side, we also need the portable gadgets to be able to be affordable by whoever wants to afford it. So this is an interesting area where really government has to think about partnerships.
Huawei, a reputable player in the global technological space, prides itself on having at least 40 years of experience. According to Nick Larson, Vice President Huawei Digital Power East Africa, the company is a worthy partner in Uganda's energy transition and clean energy journey.
And these are three areas that we believe in with digital power. The first is the new power system, energy infrastructure for clean and reliable power, but also the new EV infrastructure for the electric vehicle revolution, and the new digital industry for the digital revolution, which, as I've said, requires lots of power, clean and reliable power.
Irene Batebe, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Energy, on the best practices, stated that Uganda is willing to learn lessons on the best practices and approaches for tackling energy sector challenges and to foster clean energy and efficiency adoption.
We are working with our partners to ensure a holistic approach to mini-grid and microgrid development, where you integrate aspects of productive use of energy to be able to create demand and therefore bring down the cost. So whatever digital solutions we can apply to drive the productive use of energy, I would be happy to learn of those and together with my very able team, be able to drive such solutions.
Currently, Uganda has 57% of electricity access, with 19% on-grid and 37% off-grid. According to the ministry, the country will continue developing mini and microgrid stations powered by renewable energy sources as a viable solution for rural electrification. Maureen Babidie, Dennis Sigoa, reporting for UBC News.
Coming soon on UBC.
Welcome to Inside Broadcasting,
sharing with you the process behind what you see on the screens.
My name is Lorraine Masika Kazimoto.
Step behind the scenes and witness the magic that brings your daily broadcasts to life.
That's why I come out openly to actually tell you that I'm an investigative journalist. That even when you see me here, I'm actually investigating you guys. So you should be aware about that.
Experience the hustle, the heart, and the human stories of our on and off-air staff.
I see my phone ringing and I'm like, ooh, which number is this? I hear the president on the other line.
The president of the Republic of Uganda.
Of Uganda, yes.
Be inspired, amazed, and part of the journey that powers Uganda's most captivating TV and radio moments.
Because good broadcast comes down to an individual. They should be artistic.
This is Inside Broadcasting.
Inside Broadcasting.
Inside Broadcasting with Mark Wadula.
Coming soon on UBC.
Welcome back. Let's have some items on sports. 18 Ugandans are set to travel to Dubai this September for a fully paid for Dubai Desert Challenge trip. Now, this annual trip is for lucky winners who use the services of City Tires and are entered into a draw with 3 winners declared every month.
Early this morning at the City Tires branch on Namirembe Road, the 2024 Dubai Desert Challenge list was completed. 3 winners were added to the existing 15, making a total of 18 victors who will travel to the United Arab Emirates for a fully paid trip this September.
Congratulations, they will tell you how long it took to get you well back. We had to shuffle and shuffle and shuffle until we got you.
At the beginning of every year, City Tires holds monthly draws to select 3 winners who use their services every month for 6 months, culminating in a final draw to determine the overall winners.
Today we held our final draw for the City Oil Dubai Desert Challenge. I can say it was a simple promo. You just drive in and service your car and then get into the draw or the promotion. We've run this promo for a year, and the winners will be flown to Dubai, courtesy of City Oil, for a 4 days fully paid trip. All the expenses will be paid by City Oil. We are planning to depart in September. We communicate the date as soon as possible, but we expect the winners to prepare as we get to September.
I'm super excited to have the opportunity to be chosen amongst the winners of the Desert Challenge. I'm very excited, and I believe I'm going to have a lot of fun in Dubai. Yes, I've been there before, but Dubai is quite a very good place to go and have fun and lots of shopping.
The City Oil Marketing Manager says the draw is part of their corporate social responsibility and features several categories, including the driving category, taxi category, and fuel worth 100,000 Uganda shillings.
We had two categories, the taxi category and then the driving category. We gave one slot to the taxis, so that means we would take 6 taxi people and then 12 driving customers. I implore other customers, maybe who have not won today, to keep coming to City Oil Service. We will run another promotion. Maybe next time they will be winners. And those who have not tried out City Oil, come and try for once and see the services we offer.
Mashamiro Victor, UBC News.
It is a mint after 9 in the studios of UBC TV. We finally come to the end of this first edition of News Tonight. But remember that our second and final edition of the day will come your way at 10 p.m. On sign language, it has been Senyomo Yusuf, and I'm Rukidi Kiijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night, but also catch those of you at 10. See you then.